We'll get started here pretty soon. Go ahead and start bringing up Clover Kids, Goats, Amy DeGroat, Odin DeGroat, Olivia Eccles, Paisley Hanson, Olivia Kelly, Layla Olson, Jacob Peterson, Jordan Peterson, Carly Smith.
We need Briley Anderson on deck with your dairy goat.
Well, good morning. You guys have a great, nice, cool weather here to do this fair this morning. We've got our goat Clover kids here in the ring, and I went through and talked to them just a little bit right at the beginning to kind of ask them about their projects and if they were enjoying themselves here at the fair. And this is really good to see. I've done quite a few fairs here this summer, and this is probably the largest group of Clover kids that I've seen thus far. These guys all said most of them have a little showing experience or have showed at least once before, and they plan on continuing in the future, which is very encouraging to hear. So moms, dads, make sure, grandmas, grandpas, make sure you get your good photo up here with these guys in the ring, so someday when they're seniors, you can pull these pictures back out and show them how far they've come. These kids are doing a great job. They all deserve a nice big round of applause, and we'll let them keep rolling.
At least every day.
We need Riley Anderson with her dairy goat in the arena.
She needs the lane, but she's so stupid.
We need Katie Anderson on deck with her dairy goat for senior yearlings 12 months and under 24 months.
Just one entry here in our early doe kid class, and one that probably could have used just a little bit more competition. This doe is really feminine and correct. She's level in her top line, structurally pretty sound. We'll see how she stacks up when we bring her back out for champion drive, but let's go ahead and give this young lady a nice big round of applause.
We need Riley Anderson on deck with her dairy goat, does 2 years and under 3 years.
Again, a single entry here in our next class, and again, another one that could have used a little more competition. Like the one we had in the previous class, this doe's really extended up front. She's long neck, feminine, and angular in her dairy character. Maybe you could see her just a little bit bolder in her rib shape, but other than that, pretty good one here to go ahead and start this class. Let's give this young lady a nice round of applause. Here in our last class of dairy does, we've got another really strong one to go ahead and start this off. A doe that really has some angularity, some character. She's got a great udder on her. We'll have to see how she stacks up when we bring her back for champion drive. But let's go ahead and give this young lady a nice round of applause.
We need Bradley Anderson and Katie Anderson back in the ring with their first place goats. We need Kinley Stork on deck with her ornamental goat, senior kids 4 to 8 months.
We've got a really good dairy goat show, or dairy doe show that we've got out here today, and for me, I think there's one that rises to the top pretty quickly to be named your champion. Reserve probably gets maybe just a tick tougher after that. I think there's a pair of them that both have some extension and femininity. One's just a little bit bolder ribbed, one's just a little bit better structured between them for reserve. But I think the one that wins, as I said, kind of does so fairly handedly. I'll go shake the hand of your champion, then follow suit with your reserve. Well, let's give all three of these young ladies a nice big round of applause.
Riley Anderson got champion dairy goat, and Katie Anderson got reserve champion dairy goat.
Wonder Rabbit. Awesome.
We need Lacey DeGroat, Addison Eccles, Shay Hop, and Shay Hop on deck with their ornamental goats, senior yearlings 12 months and under 24 months.
just one of our first class ornamentals here. We've got fainting goats we're going to be seeing here today for those of you who don't know. It's very exciting. I always enjoyed judging a few of them. My very first time I ever got to judge fainting goats, there was 4 of them and they all 4 fainted at the same time in the ring, and I think it took about 10 minutes to get the show going again because everyone was laughing so hard. So if it happens, just enjoy the show. But anyway, this young lady's doing a great job with her project. We'll see what she looks like when we bring her back in with the rest of the ornamentals and champion drive. So let's go ahead and give her a good round of applause.
We need Jaylyn Peterson on deck with her ornamental goat, senior division, over 24 months.
Here in our next class of ornamentals, we're going to start with the gray goat to start, one that's really level and correct in his structure. The young lady does a nice job getting him showed, and I think we've got a couple people recruited to help maybe show a few other people's projects out here, which is awesome. Bring your friends, everybody can show today, right? The next goat down the line is one that's also very correct in terms of his structure, not quite as leveled down as top, but again, a good one to go ahead and sit in second. The young lady that comes in third is one that's got the growthiest go to the class, one that's got just a little bit more extension, maybe not quite as good in his top line, which is why he sits third. The one that comes next is one that's also pretty correct in his structure, maybe not quite the growth, maybe just a little more off in his top line, so we'll go ahead and leave him fourth today. And then the one that rounds out the class is one that's fairly level and correct, just need a little bit more size to compete with some of the other ones. But again, a really good class. Let's give all those exhibitors a nice round of applause. Just one entry in this class. The young lady's got a nice little dough project here, one that's big in her rib cage and pretty good in her structure. We'll bring her back out for her champion drive. Let's go ahead and give her a nice big round of applause.
We need Kinley Stork, Shay Hobb, and Jalen Peterson in the ring.
Here in our ornamental champion drive, I think there's some pretty easy decisions for me. I think there's one that's maybe just a little bolder ribbed, maybe a little more practical. One that has just a little bit more look, but maybe not quite the size and dimension. All four of these young people have some really good projects out here. Let's give another round of applause, and I'll go select your champion in reserve.
We need Emily Scheckinger on deck with her breeding meat goats, junior kids birth in under 4 months. Jalen Peterson got champion ornamental goat, and Shay Hobb with reserve champion ornamental goat. Caitlin Hanson, Riley Tinkle, Chet Boyson, and Addison Obrick on deck with their breeding meat goats, senior kids 4 to 8 months.
Just one entry in this particular class as we work our way into the meat goats. I think one that's structurally sound, an animal that's got some look from the side, maybe stout him up just a little bit, but a good project for this young lady. Let's go ahead and give her a nice round of applause.
We need Emily Scheckinger on deck with her meat goat, senior yearling 12 months to 24 months.
We have a change in the program. Chet Boyson's in this class, and with number 402, instead of being in the heavyweight market class for meat goats.
We got a nice class to kick off our doe show here. We've got kind of a pair of really opposite ones here to start the class, and ultimately I settle on the red doe to go ahead and start. I think she's got more true base width, she's bolder ribs, she's got more true shape down her back. She's also maybe just a little bit shot hard quality as we get up through her front end. Now, probably not as good maybe in her rear leg and her back leg structure as the one that has in second. The one in second is obviously more extended. She's the bigger outline female, maybe just a little bit more correct in the set and the shape to her hock, but one that just isn't quite truly as powerful when you get right down to it. Maybe just a little plainer up through her head and neck, but a good one to go ahead and stand second. The young ladies, though, that comes in third, the one that's really extended about her kind, just need to give her a shot more stoutness, lengthen her up or strengthen her right behind her shoulder there to bump her up any higher. The black doe that rounds out the class is one that's really feminine in her design. She's good structured. We just need to power her up to compete today. But let's go ahead and give all 4 of those exhibitors a nice round of applause.
We will need Emily Scheckinger on deck with her breeding meat goat senior division over 24 months.
Results of last class was Addison Olbrich, Chet Boyson, Kaylin Anderson, and Riley King.
Here in our next class of does just one entry. This doe's really long necked and feminine and well put together from the side. Maybe like to stouten her up just a notch when you get behind her, but a good one to go ahead and win. Let's give this young lady a nice round of applause.
Well, except she can't wear 6 months pants or shorts. If you put them on her, they fall off. She has no
So we will need Emily Scheckinger, Addison Olbrich, and Chet Boyson on deck for champion and reserve champion.
Here in our last class of does, this young lady's project, really long neck, really feminine. Obviously, she's been very productive for the young lady at this point in time. Give her a good round of applause, and we'll bring her back out for champion drive. our breeding week goat show here. I think for me it's a pretty easy decision who's going to win and who's going to go reserve in this particular division. I think we've had some nice competition out here, but for me there's just one that's a lot stouter and a lot more powerful, maybe just breeds with a shot more quality. I think reserve kind of logically fits into that spot as it kind of next best fits the mold that I'm kind of looking for on these particular animals. But these exhibitors have done a nice job. Let's go ahead and give them one more round of applause.
We need Caitlin Hansen, Riley Kinkle, and Addison Obrecht on deck with market goats.
Champion breeding goat goes to Addison Obrecht. Your reserve goes to Chet Boyson. Addison will support or represent Shelby County at the Best of the West in Denison. If she can't go, Chet will represent Shelby County.
That's the last one.
Got really nice weather to go ahead and kick off our market meat goat show. I think this thing reads pretty good from the side as far as quality and look and balance. He's got plenty of muscle when you get your hands on that one. I think a really nice one to start. Big Lady Stokey that comes in second, one that actually when you get your hands on her has more muscle and has more shape down her back than maybe what she appears from the side. Where the side is, when we get off to the side of her is kind of where we like to fix her. She's not as strong behind her shoulder, maybe not quite the quality look, but a really good project for that particular young lady. The doe that rounds out the class is one that's big and extended and has some growth. We just need to power this one up for this particular class, but let's go ahead and give all those young people a nice big round of applause.
We need Chet Boyson on deck, and there will only be one goat in the ring at that time.
Here in our second class of market goats, so we're going to use the young lady closest to me to go ahead and start this particular class. I think this weather just breeds with more shape and more power, maybe just a shot stronger top as you get off to the side of this one. Whether they go seconds, one that's really big and extended in this kind, certainly good and structured, just like to power him up and strengthen him up in his top line just a notch. Well, let's go ahead and give both those young ladies a nice round of applause.
We need Addison O'Brien, Caitlin Hansen, and Chet Boyson on deck to come in for overall champion and champion reserve.
Big weather to go ahead and round out our market show. I think this one's pretty correct when you get off to the side and look. He's got some quality, he's good structured, he's got some shape down his back. We'll see how he stacks up when we bring him in again for champion. Let's go ahead and give this young man a nice round of applause.
After we get our champion and champion reserve, we will be doing senior goat showmanship. We will need Katie Anderson, Shay Hawk, and Emily Scheckinger.
Before Ashley selects champion, Market Goat, I want to thank her again for coming and judging our goat show here today.
We've got 3 really nice class winners that we bring back out here to represent in your market show. I think I'll just talk them really briefly. The one that comes out of the first class, I think in my opinion, when we get your hands on him, he's got by far the most shape and dimension down his back. He's bold in his rib cage. He's really the powered up, kind of more moderate one that we've got in this particular class. Maybe not as tall fronted and exotic in his neck as maybe some of the other ones out here, but I think a really good representative of the lightweights. In our medium weight class, I think this one kind of excels just in terms of being really tall fronted and long neck. He's got some shape when you get your hands on him. Maybe not quite as good right behind his shoulder and out of his hip as the one that wins the first class, but I think that one that represents the middleweights really well. The one that comes out of the heavyweight class is one that's just really correct in his build and his structure. He's got some shape and power when you get your hands on him, maybe just a little bit more advanced in terms of his condition compared to the lighter weight ones, but I think a really good representative of the heavies. Let's go ahead and give all these exhibitors a nice round of applause, and I'll select your champion and reserve.
So your champion market goat is Addison Obrek, and your reserve brand champion market goat is Addison Obrek.
We'll do intermediate showman next. Right before we do intermediate showman, we'll do rated game. I'll hand out the ribbons for that.
Here in our senior showmanship, what I usually do when I'm judging showmanship is I go through and I just talk to each one of the kids individually and I say, hey, here's some things you're doing well, here's maybe some things you can do to improve on. I don't like to necessarily talk all the positives and negatives on the microphone, especially as we've seen them show kind of all morning this morning. If you're curious what I told them, go ahead and ask them. Take what I say with a grain of salt. It's just my opinion on this particular day. Hopefully you guys continue showing it and continue to gain more experience and hopefully enjoy the project. The young lady closest to me is going to be your champion today. The young lady on the farther side is going to be a reserve. But let's go ahead and give both of these girls a nice round of applause.
Champion senior showman was Katie Anderson. Reserve was Emma Schechter. If you want an award tonight, or today, champion or reserve, make sure you get your picture taken by the newspaper. We'll go ahead and do rate of gain real quick before I forget about it some more. Chet Boyson, a champion rate of gain with a .74. Caitlin Hansen was reserve. Caitlin Hansen was third. Addison Obrick was fourth and fifth. They want to come get their ribbons.
Just also thinking, I wanted to get children for super cute. Last night, he's February, I guess, February 19th.
We need Jet Boyson, Lucy DeGroat, Addison Eccles, Caitlin Hansen, Carlos Hop, Riley Kinkle, and Kinley Stork on deck for junior goat showmanship.
Get them working together. I told them to grab all three shoes, go to one track, Colton grab his leather boots to one track, come up on one, so he grabs his shoes. So then Trevor's trying to cut the game to try to not play. He's just sitting. He's just sitting.
In our intermediate showmanship here, just kind of like I did with the seniors, I went through and talked to them all about some things they do well, maybe a couple little things they can improve on. We're kind of comparing apples and oranges a little bit here in this particular class because we've got meat goats, dairy goats, kind of some exotics. We've kind of got a little bit of everything. I think all three of these young ladies do a nice job for their respective divisions. Just some little differences and some subtle things as far as foot placement and how much or how little the animal is stretched and kind of how high up we get our neck set that affects across the species here. But I'm going to go ahead and use this young lady closest to me for reserve, and we'll follow through with your reserve and then your third place after that. All three of these girls do a nice job. Let's make sure we give them all a nice big round of applause. We've got some really nice junior exhibitors out here for our junior showmanship. And again, I talked to them, some things they're doing well, maybe some things they can improve on. We're going to go ahead and use the young man on the far end to be our champion. The young lady in the middle will be our reserve. And the young lady that follows will be our third. Let's go ahead and give all three of these guys a nice big round of applause.
So we need Katie Anderson, Emily Scheckinger, Addison Obrick, Riley Anderson, Chet Boyson, and Caitlin Hanson in for overall Grand Champion Goat Showmanship and Reserve Grand Champion Goat Showmanship.
When we get done with the show today, go ahead and get your picture taken right away. She's got a red shirt on and a camera. Can't miss her. And waving her hand right now.
Got a really nice group of showmen out here, and I think all these kids are doing a great job, and hopefully kind of continue on with this project and are enjoying what they're doing. I kind of talked to each one of them individually. Most of them, as they've come back out here, have kind of taken the advice I've given them and applied it right away, which is really awesome to see that they were listening and kind of paying attention. I'm going to go ahead and shake the hand of your champion and your reserve. Let's go ahead and give these exhibitors one more big round of applause.
Champion showman goes to Addison Obrick. Reserve is Katie Anderson. That concludes the goat show. On to the alpaca show.
Alright, we got one young lady out here in our Clover Kids alpaca, and she thinks she might like the goats maybe more than the alpacas because the alpacas can spit. But she says it's a pretty fun project and she's enjoying what she's doing. So let's go ahead and give this young lady a really big round of applause.